Laser sights will make you a more accurate and confident shooter by providing visual feedback on sight alignment and trigger control. Crimson Trace, making laser sight standard equipment. Learn more at crimsontrace.com.
Today on Tom Gresham's Gun Talk, it's new legislation protecting campus carry, your range reports, and more. Call in now, 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. Now, here's Tom.
Well, here is Gun Talk. I'm Tom Gresham. I am glad that you could be with us. We have a lot to talk about today. We have, your range reports, obviously. We always like to get those. We have new guns coming out like crazy. And I think we're going to see a whole lot of new guns introduced at the NRA show in about a month or so. Normally, those are introduced, new guns that are introduced at SHOT Show. But I think what's happening is that gun companies have looked up and gone, oh, wow, we're actually going to have to produce new things to sell guns. And they've had them in the works for years. They've just been holding on to them. They didn't have to bring out the new stuff, frankly, to sell. And now they do. So we benefit. We're going to have a lot of new things coming out. We can talk about that just a little bit. Also, what you would like to see them introduce: shotgun, rifle, handgun. What do you think about buying? What do you wish was out there? Would love to get that. 866-TALK-GUN is our magic number here, or just dial Tom Talk Gun. That gets you in. You've probably seen the videos. Of course, now we have video of everything, of Good Samaritans, people who decided they're going to get involved. They're going to, by golly, I'm carrying a gun. I should fix that. I should stop him. I should shoot the shoplifter. Well, that's something we could talk about for a long time. But about this for a long time, and frankly, there's much research about it as anybody I know about what actually happens in self-defense situations when people use guns to save lives. Is Chris Bird, author of a number of books about that. He joins me right now. Chris just had a piece published in the Washington Times. Hey, Chris, welcome.
Well, thank you, Tom. It's a pleasure to be with you, as always.
Absolutely. So this piece is titled What to Do When Faced with Violent Crime, which is a nice, soft headline that you have on this. What is the crux of the article?
Well, basically, when I wrote it, I put a headline on it which was a little different. It was Citizen Involvement in Stopping Crime and Terrorism. And right. I posed the question, to what extent should ordinary citizens be involved in trying to stop violent crime and terrorism? Mm-hmm. Particularly as recently we have more and more attention paid to terrorist attacks, whether they be in Garland, Texas, or Paris, France. Right. And we also still have people who, for one reason or another, usually there's some mental instability there, decide to go out and maybe shoot up the school that they go to, or a mall, something that where what they're looking for, both in terms of terrorism and those sort of crimes, they're referred to by police as active shooter incidents. Basically doing what the police departments, particularly big city police departments, have mm-hmm. told ordinary citizens for years. They say, don't get involved, don't fight back, give them what they want, call 911, be a good witness. That's not going to help you if you're stuck in the middle of an active shooter incident.
But, there was a, Chris, there was an interesting twist on that, though. There was a departure from the party line when the police chief of Washington, D.C. went on a different tack, didn't she?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Kathy Lanier until recently was the police chief for the Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police Department. And she was interviewed on 60 Minutes some time back. She told Anderson Cooper that for years we've told citizens exactly what I just said, don't get involved. But with active shooter incidents, or as I call them, active killer incidents, we're all shooters, but we're not all killers. Then she admitted. She said, we've been telling them for years not to get involved, and now we're telling them to take action. The only problem with that was the next day Fox News came out and said that she had turned down 80% of the requests for concealed carry licenses. So
she's telling people she's telling people to defend themselves. We're not going to be there. You have to take care of it till we get there. And oh, by the way, we're going to prohibit you from being able to do that.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, not necessarily prohibit, but certainly we're going to deny you the best means of doing it, which is a firearm.
Sure. Let me ask you a question here. And you have researched this. You have hundreds, I mean, really, literally hundreds of stories in your various books about people who have used guns for self-defense, either, robberies, abductions, home invasions, etc. What are you seeing? I guess two questions, really. I want you to do two things. One is, how effective is armed self-defense by citizens? And two, is anything changing in the minds of people who carry relative to an increase, or at least a perceived increase, or the possibility of terrorism?
Well, I think for years the mainstream media has sort of said that self-defense doesn't work. However, what they failed to recognize, and this was brought out some years ago by Gary Kleck, a criminologist, he says that mostly when an ordinary citizen uses a gun in self-defense, not a shot is fired. What happens is particularly with women, because women are seen as easy targets, whether we're talking about robbery or rape. And many times when a woman or a man, for that matter, pulls a gun, it changes the dynamic of the confrontation. And the usual reaction is that the bad guy suddenly realizes he has urgent business in the next county and leaves later on looking for an easier victim. That happened in, I guess, Louisiana with John Long some years ago. He saw a guy...
Yeah, I know John.
Yes, I know. He saw a guy coming to his... He has what I call a full-service barber shop. They cut hair, they cut keys, they do state vehicle inspections, and they sell used cars. Well, he saw a guy pull up and go to the trunk, get a gun out, put it in his waistband at the back, and then start walking towards where the used cars were. So John, with his gun on the outside, went over to him and said, "Can I help?" They saw him, saw that he was armed, and they said, "Oh, we think we'll go somewhere else." And the next day, John saw in the paper where this guy had gone to another store and tried to rob it and had been killed by the proprietor. So they're looking for easy victims. They don't want victims who are armed.
Well, the point of that being that this is one that didn't show up in the records when they say, well, the people hardly use guns for self-defense very often. Well, John used a gun for self-defense, but it didn't make the papers. It didn't make the police report. Nobody got shot. Basically, just a bad guy who went away. And so that's the thing that happens over and over and over again. And so when people say, well, there just aren't that many instances of self-defense. No, actually, there are a lot. There are quite literally millions of instances of armed self-defense without shots being fired. It makes it difficult. But let me quickly go to this because we're almost out of time. As we see these shootings, Garland, Texas, as we see in California, San Bernardino, as we see over and over these, whether it's self-radicalized, I don't care who it is. I really don't care. But people have just decided they're not there to rob. They're just there to kill. People, I think, are changing their viewpoint. They're thinking, I'm carrying now for self-defense against, if we would, such a thing, traditional criminals, but also against this other thing. In your research, what are you hearing out there?
Well, definitely that is a change, and Kathy Lanier put her finger on it, in that you just have to what's being told now is run, hide, fight. Run is a very good solution. The problem with hide, as was pointed out by Sheriff Wayne Ivey of Brevard County at the Gun Rights Policy Conference, a lot of people at the Pulse nightclub in Orlando ran into the bathrooms to hide, but there was no way out. And when the bad guy came in, he killed a lot of them. So hiding is not the best alternative, and the last alternative, fight. Even the federal government acknowledges run, hide, fight, but they don't suggest that citizens should be armed. Sheriffs have gone on record since San Bernardino saying, arm yourselves. We cannot protect you.
Those are the honest ones who are saying, okay, we can't be there, we can't protect you, it's up to you, take care of it. I would applaud Chris Bird's work. Anytime you can, grab a copy of one of his books. Thank God I Had a Gun, the Concealed Carry Handbook, a lot of other Chris Bird books. Thank you, Chris, appreciate that. And thank you for that piece in the Washington Times. You can go check that out today. Just check out WashingtonTimes.com. All right, 866-TALK-GUN. We'll get you in here, or just dial Tom Talk Gun. When I come back, I've got a first-hand report from somebody who says, holy cow, it was just a short trip. Am I ever glad that I had my gun? We'll be right back.
The pistol that redefines pocket carry just got even better. The Ruger LCP-2 has improved sights, an easy-to-rack slide, a larger textured grip surface for a secure grip and recoil reduction, and a short, crisp, single-action trigger pull for real-world accuracy. It's so small and light that there's no reason to ever leave home without your LCP-2. A serious pistol in a pint-sized package. Learn more about the LCP-2 at Ruger.com.
Laser sights increase confidence, regardless of experience level. Whether you're learning the fundamentals, a seasoned shooter, or simply overcoming aging eyes, laser sights provide instant feedback, providing immediate confidence and enjoyment for a new shooter. Call 800-442-2406 or visit crimsontrace.com for a free copy of our laser training video, The Laser's Edge, and learn more about why Crimson Trace is making laser sights standard equipment.
For 36 years, the U.S. Sportsmen's Alliance has been fighting to protect hunting, fishing, and trapping for sportsmen from coast to coast. Today, we are under constant attack from extremist animal rights groups who want to end your ability to hunt in the U.S. Join us to protect our sporting heritage and our way of life outdoors. To join or for more information on how you can help, go to ussportsman.org. That's ussportsman.org.
The Springfield Armory SOCOM 16 CQB is a serious package of .308 firepower with a long military background. 10 inches shorter than the standard M1A with a standard 10-round or the optional 20-round magazine. It's a thunderous close-quarters battle rifle that stops, fights, fast. Ghost ring rear and tritium front sights with a 5-position adjustable cheek piece. The SOCOM 16 CQB is ready for anything. Springfield-Armory.com.
All right, now's your time to join us. Just give us a call, 866-TALK-GUN, or just dial Tom Talk Gun. Looking for range reports. If you've been out shooting, what did you shoot? Who'd you take with you? What kind of targets are you shooting? Paper targets, cardboard targets, or something more inventive? You have heard me talk a lot about always carry, always carry. I mean, I know people get tired of it. It's real simple. Always carry. I get this email. It's a little bit long, but I think it's worthwhile. I think you will appreciate it. From Randy. He says, I expect something like this happens to people all over the country every day, but we never hear the stories. I hope you'll share this one. He says, but please, not my name. Not a problem. Got it. Over the years, you've taught that we must always carry. Early this morning, this is just a day or two ago. Early this morning, I got up to take my 16-year-old daughter to church. No, this is this morning. Early this morning, I got up to take my 16-year-old daughter to church for a girls' outing. It was just a short trip to church, nothing special. I jumped out of bed, no shower, threw on some clothes, and was ready to go. I was just going to run her over to the church and come back to bed. I looked at the EDC gear, everyday carry for those who don't know, and initially decided not to carry. Something inside of me said, the one time you need it is the one time you won't have it. I picked up the EDC, my wallet, keys, flashlight, XDS, and spare magazine. When I got in the Jeep, I realized it was thirsty. As we stopped, pumped gas, and I got back in. I've never been vigilant about locking the doors on my car. Lesson learned. As I was putting my seatbelt on, I caught a glimpse of someone walking to my Jeep. Before I realized it, a strange man was in my back seat. I firmly believe the body will never go where the mind has not already been, so I rehearsed scenarios in my mind. I actually had started thinking this was kind of a sick practice until now. Tom, it was surreal. Everything really did slow down. I remember turning as he opened the back door. I remember drawing my weapon from my coat pocket. I remember extending my right arm, pushing my pistol into his nose as I pushed my daughter away. I remember his face over the sight. I remember how small my Grand Cherokee seemed. And I remember deliberately moving my index finger from along the slide to lightly touching the trigger. It was all reaction, no thought. I don't know if this guy made an innocent mistake or if he meant evil. I don't know if my assertive tone showed him we weren't sheep or what, or if he was afraid of the 9mm steel tube at the end of his nose. But I do know he got the hell out of my Jeep and ran. I know I will never doubt picking up the EDC again. I don't know what it would have been if I weren't prepared, but I know my daughter and I are safe. He says, start to finish, I expect this event took less than 30 seconds. I honestly believe that if this had lasted a second longer, this man would have been dead in my back seat, regardless of his intentions. It took the sheriff almost 5 minutes to arrive, and they came in running lights and siren. I'm glad for the law enforcement community. I love and respect them, but they are not going to be there when you need them. It's simply impossible. We must be prepared to protect ourselves and our family. Randy, thank you so much for that. Let's see. Let's start going through the learning points here. I'm not going far. Why would I need my gun? It's highly unlikely. You know what? It's highly unlikely you're going to need it at any given time. Heck, I've heard people say, well, I'm not going far. I'm not going to put on my seatbelt. Are you kidding me? I trust you wouldn't do that. You understand that the crazy loon texting and driving can take you out, 100 feet from your driveway. But that crazy loon can also cause you to need your firearm, or a different crazy loon. I'll have to tell one on myself here. Getting in the car, he didn't lock the door. I'm a door locker, but I had been slow to lock doors. No more. I was actually in Prescott, Arizona a year or two ago, got in my rental car, and I was starting to punch in the GPS where I needed to drive to. And I heard I'm parked on the street in downtown Prescott, and I hear my passenger side door open, and I look over, and a woman has gotten into my car. I had no situational awareness. I had my head down punching stuff into a GPS, and I had not locked the car door when I got in. She was trying to go to a car next to mine, and she just made a mistake. Oh, I'm sorry. She got out. But I thought, yeah, but what if it hadn't been that? I was completely in condition white, absolutely unaware of what was going on. So ever since then, the moment I get into a car, I lock the door. I mean, before I put on a seatbelt, before I do anything, think about the vulnerability you have when you get in and you haven't locked the door. If you've locked the door, you bought time. Let me say that again. When you lock the door, you are buying time. Shields up, windows up. I don't stop at stop signs or anywhere else with windows rolled down. I don't care. Shields up. That's when people can run out, sticks up and in your window. If your windows are rolled up, you have shields. And then think about the reaction time. When Randy says it was surreal, it was like slow motion. Yeah, it is, except that it's not. The reason he was able to react the way he did and as quickly as he did is because he had done that same thing 100 times in his head. I mean, seriously, how many times have you heard me say, sit there in your big easy chair, turn off the TV, and go over scenarios? If this happens, I will do that. If this happens, I will do that. And if I do that and that doesn't work, then what am I going to do? And then that next thing, if that doesn't work, then what am I going to do? The whole run, hide, fight, that's okay. As long as you have the capacity to fight anywhere in there. It may turn out that you have to fight first. It may be that you can run and then you have to fight. Maybe you have to run and then you can hide and then you have to fight. But for those who ran into a bathroom and hid and had no way to fight, they just die. Randy, thank you so much. It gives us all food for thought. I guess I would ask you, have you had any situations where you thought, wow, don't know if that was bad, but I certainly was not plugged in. I could have been a victim. If that person had been the bad guy, I don't think I could have protected myself. And the other question is, are you always carrying? I mean, always? Do you have, if you can't reach out and touch it, it's not available. And that includes in your home. Now, you may want to use one of those little locking, quick opening gun safes in your home. Those are pretty cool and pretty good, but you need to have one available. 866-TALK-GUN or just dial Tom Talk Gun.
Sign up for our Gun Talk newsletter and join the Truth Squad at www.guntalk.com. Now, back to Gun Talk with Washington Times opinion page regular contributor Tom Gresham.
All right, later on in the show, we're going to be talking with the state representative in Kansas who is involved in a concealed carry measure trying to get that passed in the state. A lot of things going on in the various states. And it's interesting, we have states where they are trying to remove the restrictions on your rights, and we have other states that are trying to increase the restrictions on your rights. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Also, don't forget that you still have time to enter this stupidly, incredibly generous giveaway. I mean, it's kind of nuts. All you got to do is go to guntalk.com/win, W-I-N, and enter for, it's a lot of different ways for you to enter, and it's got them all listed there. But basically, the giveaway is somebody's going to win the whole thing. It's a Springfield Armory EMP pistol, the Springfield Armory Saint, which is an AR-15, a Cannon Safe, Crimson Trace Link System, Crimson Trace Railmaster Universal Light, 1,000 rounds of rifle ammo, 1,000 rounds of handgun ammo, steel targets, tactical clothing, oh my heavens, pack timers, it's nuts. Guntalk.com/win, W-I-N. It goes on. There's more. No, but wait, there's more, but I'm not going to tell you all. You'll have to go look. It's all there. Let's see. Frank called in but didn't want to be on the air. But he said he's so excited. There are no commercials on the First Person Defender CDs. He watched. So that's great. Yeah, if you don't know, you can get our First Person Defender, at least the first season of First Person Defender. You go to shopguntalk.com. We also have hats and DVDs and training stuff, concealed carry. Oh, there's one there that's a kind of a sleeper. It's called Fighting with the 1911, and you're thinking, well, I don't have a 1911. Don't worry about it. Buy it. Seriously, just buy it. It's that good. It's Tiger McKee. It's about self-defense with handguns. Go to shopguntalk.com. Let's see. Line 3, Jude's with us in Central Point, Oregon. Jude, what are you shooting there? What are you building?
Good morning, Tom. Thank you for taking my call. Well,
Sure.
I've been hearing you talk for quite some time now about wanting to build a 300 blackout SBR, and I desired the same thing, so I've gone ahead and done it.
Talk to me. How'd it go? What'd you put together?
So far, so good. I wanted to build a piston gun because I wanted to run suppressed, of course, because that is the biggest desire I have with the 300 blackout was to build a home defense gun out of it. So I did it. About the only issue I had was getting it tuned right with subloads and the piston system. It was a bit of a unicorn that I didn't know about until I got into it.
What barrel length?
It's 7.5 inches.
Okay, 7.5-inch SBR for a short barrel rifle. And you built it yourself, and I'm assuming you bought or have a can for it.
Yes, I did. I actually did a Form 1 can and made that myself as well.
Oh, you did? Okay, so explain the process, because people are saying, how do you go about doing that? You can build one of these yourself? How does that work?
Absolutely. All you have to do, it's changed a little bit since the ATF changed the rules, but initially with the e-forms, you fill out the form, you submit it, you pay your $200 tax stamp, you give them a little bit of information, the serial number you're going to put on it, and basically you make it. And there are companies out there, I know you discussed it every now and then, the companies that are making solvent traps, if you will. And I got one of those and left it as it was, and once I received my tax stamp paperwork back is when I modified it and punched the holes and made it legal.
Okay, so the point there being, and I keep telling people, look, don't go the wink, this isn't a suppressor, this is a solvent trap. You did it the legal way. You got the paperwork and made it a legal suppressor, so you're not trying to, slip one by ATF, which is generally a bad idea all the way around.
Yeah, it's a very bad idea. I don't feel like doing any time in the pen.
No kidding. Okay, so you've got the 7.5-inch SBR, 300 blackout. You mentioned tuning. What did you have to do to get the gun to run well?
Well, the biggest issue is that I didn't know about is it's harder to get it to run a piston as opposed to direct gas impingement. So what I ended up doing was opening the gas port slightly. And I read a lot of research online that led me in that direction. And once I put the can on, it operates like a charm. I'm still doing some load development. I reload, so I'm loading all my own bullets. So it's been quite the process. What twist rate
barrel did you go with?
Excuse me?
What was the twist rate on the barrel?
It's 1 in 7 because I wanted that heavier twist to stabilize those heavy bullets.
Okay. Well, sounds like a fun project. For those who don't quite understand what we're talking about, you can just buy a stripped receiver, an AR receiver, start off with that, and you can literally put all the parts on it, build it yourself, and you can build it as a short barrel rifle. And for that, you need to pay the $200 tax to the feds for it and wait for your tax stamp to come back. Oh, I know what I was going to ask you. How long did you have to wait to get your tax stamp?
It was only about 6 months for both the SBR stamp and the suppressor stamp.
That's not too bad. People would be pretty happy with 6 months right now.
Yeah, it turned out pretty good. I was pleasantly surprised.
Good deal. Well, look, I appreciate the range report on that one. There you go. For these people who are thinking, do people really do that? Oh, yeah. Every single day people are doing that. Tell you what, quick break here, 866-TALK-GUN. When we come back, Craig, we're going to get you on. And also, if you would like to join us, we're pretty much open lines. So if it is about guns, buying one, selling one, or how to shoot one, or maybe how to carry one, give me a holler. Used guns can be a great value, but you have to know who you're buying from. What if you could buy quality used guns with a lifetime warranty from the Internet's largest online reseller? That's what you get at Dewey'sGuns.com. They stand behind every firearm purchase for life. If you have a problem, they'll either fix or replace your gun. Pistols, rifles, shotguns, and more. Check out their inventory today at Dewey'sGuns.com.
It's the next generation target pistol, the SW22 Victory from Smith & Wesson. Stainless steel frame, interchangeable match barrel, thumb safety, fiber optic sights, and a Picatinny rail. The SW22 Victory is ready for anything, targets or small game. Also available with a threaded barrel or cryptic camo finish. And it's backed by the Smith & Wesson Lifetime Service Policy. Learn more about the SW22 Victory at smith-wesson.com.
Hi, this is Tom Gresham from Gun Talk. America is losing critical wildlife habitat at a rate of 1 football field every hour. It's happening on the Louisiana coast, but it's critical to all sportsmen and conservationists. These precious wetlands provide winter habitat for more than 10 million ducks and geese annually, waterfowl that migrate north through dozens of states. Don't shrug it off. Get involved. You can help. Visit vanishingparadise.org.
We are Aguila Ammunition. We believe that getting the most out of your firearm begins with what you put into your firearm. And that's why we only source the best raw materials to manufacture the best ammunition possible. Ammunition that's reliable and dependable, shot after shot. Ammunition that holds nothing back when it comes to performance, quality, and innovation. Yes, ammunition that your guns will downright devour. Guns are hungry. Feed them at AguilaAmmo.com.
All right, back with you, 866-TALK-GUN, line 1. Craig's with us out of Moorhead, Minnesota. Hey, Craig, constitutional carry. What's going on up there?
As we speak, Minnesota and North Dakota, it's going through the legislatures. My governor, Dayton, has said he will not sign it. We don't know what's going to happen in North Dakota. I learned a lot in my concealed carry course, not on how to shoot my gun, but I did learn how to be, what happens if you do? They scared the hell out of me. And for 8 years, I've gotten a lot more information from you. I'm a little troubled by people that I talk to that have no clue what they should and shouldn't do if they're roaming around their own property with a gun, and now we're going to let them carry everywhere. Tell me what your thoughts on constitutional carry is.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, and I share your concern. And I have said for, 3 years at least, I am conflicted about this. On the one hand, I absolutely believe that we should remove as many restrictions as possible on our rights. And requiring people to get a permit to carry a gun for self-defense is a major restriction. On the other hand, as you do, I see great value in education when people take their class and they learn, okay, here's how to disengage. Here's how to de-escalate. Here's what to do if you do have to use your firearm. Here's what you may be in for. Basically putting up the real-world education of, okay, let's talk seriously about what you're getting into. I worry, as I think you do, about people who carry who don't have that information, who don't understand. And I think, look, I don't think there's anybody who's honest about this, even on our side, who we're all saying, yeah, we want constitutional carry. I don't think there's anybody who would say it's not going to expose more people to carry, which means that we're going to have the possibility of more people who could do it wrong. I mean, we see people trying to stop or even shoot at carjackers. Correction. Carjacking's one thing. At shoplifters. Okay, somebody has stolen a package of diapers, and we're going to shoot them? That's where some education would come in and go, yeah, I'm not sure you've thought this thing through completely. If somebody is shoplifting and what they're stealing is worth almost nothing, and the store's already insured for it, maybe you don't want to write that check for $100,000 it's going to cost you to pull the trigger.
And also, go ahead. The man or the man or woman that's going to go get a concealed carry, he's already showed some initiative rather than just having to own a gun. Mm-hmm. And that same initiative that made them go into that class, hopefully will make them do more than just take that class. And it just concerns me. People.
Yeah, and I'm a huge proponent of education, and I'm open to suggestions from anybody on. And look, thank you so much for the call, Craig. I think it's a very thoughtful approach to say, okay, if you have this information, if you have this education, if you have this training, you can just simply know more. And number one, you're less likely, I think you're less likely to pull a gun in a confrontation if you've had the training. The more training you get, the less likely you are to use it. And number two, I just think we have to be realistic and say, look, if we have more people who have almost no education on this carrying, we're going to have some issues. Having said that, and I'm in favor of reducing the restrictions on our Second Amendment rights, I'm calling for suggestions on what we should do. How could we get this information, this educational information, out to the public? If you say, okay, we have constitutional carry in this state, and if you agree as with me, I'm assuming you do, but that may not be true. If you agree with me that education is good and we should try to get this information into the heads and hands of people who might carry, how could we go about that? 866-TALK-GUN is the number here. Steve is on line 4 out of Georgia. Steve, you're on Gun Talk.
Hey, good day to you. I'm calling I would really love to discuss with you our media's tremendous anti-gun bias and what we can do or may be able to do to combat that. Just seems that all aspects of our media, the radio in many cases, movies, all our stars, all these people that are in the various higher up positions in Hollywood are all so anti-gun. And all of us, without a second thought, or the majority of us without a second thought, we go to the movies, we go to rock concerts, we buy iTunes with our phones, we spend money on this stuff constantly. My brother, I've got a brother who's a two-term Vietnam vet, and he and I had a discussion 15 or 20 years ago about this, and he convinced me. I haven't been in a movie theater since Forrest Gump, last time I saw a movie, and I'm wondering if we all got together and sort of had a bit of a boycott of Hollywood, then it would take away some of this platform that these stars, Hollywood stars and rock stars and all use to preach their anti-gun rhetoric, which is it's such.
Here's the thing: it would only have an effect if it were organized and if they understood why they were seeing a reduction in sales. To just simply not go doesn't do enough. I know what you're saying. I mean, I've attended my last Bourne. I love the Bourne series of movies. Not going to it. Matt Damon's anti-gun. Not giving him a dime of my money. Not going to do it. There are a whole bunch of people. Liam Neeson, super anti-gun guy. Of course, you got to love the guys who make millions of dollars with fake guns, pretending to shoot people, and then turn around and badmouth legal, lawful gun owners like you and me. Badmouth the NRA, which is the leading gun safety group in the country. It has been for 100 years. So I understand what you're saying, and I get your frustration. But we go back to what I've said before. It's how can we be effective? How can we be persuasive? And it's not enough to simply not go to a store when they have a no-gun sign. You have to tell them why. You have to say, you lost money. I am not going to spend money with you because you did that. Now, and look, I appreciate the call. I guess here's a question for everybody. Could we do that with a particular movie or a particular star? Could we do it in such a way that got coverage? Michelle, I like it. Michelle says, well, organized like the women on Washington, D.C. That got coverage, yeah. We could march on... Can you march on Hollywood? Because none of us want... Well, okay. With apologies to my friends in California, none of us really want to go to California. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, we're going to skip those hats that those women were wearing. Yeah, good point, Jim. Oh, Lordy. That's just funny. How could we affect that? How can we say, you're free to take that position and we are free to try, we're not going to spend money with you. Your position is antithetical to who we are. You're saying that we are of less value. You are putting us down. You're saying that we're low. I just read an article that said, well, of course, multiple studies have shown that people who own guns have lower than average IQs. I would have a snappy comeback, but I guess my IQ just doesn't allow that. And out of Louisiana comes this. Elected lawmakers always feel they must do something. We must do something. That's what we're here for. We have to do something. State Representative, this is Louisiana, Dodie Horton, Republican, Houghton. And look, here's the thing. Dodie Horton is not an anti-gun person. She's been there before. She has helped gun rights in the state. But the sheriff, Bossier Parish Sheriff, Julian Whittington, came to her and said, could you put a bill in? Because we've got a problem here with fake guns in schools. So she's introduced a bill in the legislature that could put a student in jail for up to 6 months for bringing a fake gun to a public school or school event. They're saying, well, these guns just look real. We can't tell the difference. Well, okay, I understand that there's a problem. I understand that you're concerned. But this isn't the way to do it. This has so many downsides. What this would do, House Bill 43 would make it illegal for any student to possess an imitation firearm, projectile, or ammunition while on school grounds, a school bus, or athletic or other school events, or, wait for it, within 1,000 yards, not feet in this case, 1,000 yards of a school. In most towns, there is no place you can stand that is not within 1,000 yards of a school. The ban would include toy guns, water guns, etc. Think about this. It is legal to walk down the street next to a school in Louisiana, if you have a carry permit, with a loaded firearm. You could carry a loaded gun, but you couldn't have a water gun. Huh? An 18 or 19-year-old can drive down the street with his or her rifle or shotgun, but could not drive down the street in front of a school with a water gun. Could be subject to 6 months in jail. This is what you get when you combine these, and I'm sorry, but sometimes police just say, we have to do things to make our job easier. Yeah, no, we have to do things to make us freer. We have to do things to remove as many restrictions as we can, but we should not be giving up rights to make your job easier. I am sorry. I know it's a hard job. I realize it. I understand the seriousness of this. This is a bad move. This is a bad move. With any luck, this one will die a nice, quiet death in the legislature, but it does give you, once again, a porthole into the mindset, the world of the we must do something attitude of lawmakers. We were sent there not to sit on our hands, but to do something. If we're not passing a law, then what good are we? Well, with that, I would agree. That's why I really like the states that have their legislatures meet only once every other year. Because I got to tell you, the less they do, the better off we are. The less Congress does, the safer we are. Gridlock is good. It seems that every time they do something, we lose something. Now, they are making some moves, and last Thursday in the U.S. Congress, they moved out the bill to remove the VA, the Veterans Administration. They're putting 176,000 veterans on the you can't own a gun for the rest of your life list. That's going to get repealed. That is going to get repealed, even though the media's losing their mind. You're giving guns to the mentally incompetent. No, we're giving guns to people who've never been adjudicated and never had due process. We're allowing them to have due process. You got a problem with due process? Well, evidently they do. If it's guns, you shouldn't have any process or any rights in their minds. 866-TALK-GUN.